also very much focused on the lotus feet of Sri Rupa. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, say more Sampada, say more Bhajana Pujan, say more Pranadhana, say more Avarana, say more Jivanera Jivan. The lotus feet of Sri Rupa, they are my treasure, my life and soul. They are my bhajan, my puja, my ornament, the life of my life, my brata, my tapa, my japa, my everything. So when it's the disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami, then we make a festival bigger than Janmashtami for 5 days. It's not my idea, I am just following my Guru Pada Padma, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami. So this is very beautiful song. Do you have your songbooks? Jankari Rupa Sharanana Dharata, describing the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami. Jankali Rupa Sharana Dharata Hambraja Prema Mahani Kona Kapatuka. If Srila Rupa Goswami Pad had not appeared in this world, then who would have been able to access the treasure that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had brought here from Goloka Vrindavan? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here with the Mahanidhi, the greatest treasure of divine love, but it was in a treasure chest and it was locked. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left the key with Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami opened it and then began to distribute. How? Nirkira hangsana pana vidayata kona pitak koripayata. Just as a swan can separate milk from a mixture of milk and water, so similarly, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, he could separate the pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti, Uttama bhakti from Karma Mishra bhakti, Jnana Mishra bhakti, Yoga Mishra bhakti, all the various impure types of bhakti. And then within that Uttam bhakti, he could separate Vaidhi bhakti from Raganuga bhakti. In other words, the bhakti which is performed inspired by the injunctions of the scriptures, rules and regulations, for the sake of attaining devotion to Vaikuntanath, Lakshmipati, the all-powerful Bhagavan with three opulences in Vaikuntha. And he separated from that and showed what is the path of Raganuga Bhakti, following the rag, the bhavs of the bridge bases, to attain a love for sweet, beautiful, human-like Krishna in Vrindavan. And then within that love for Krishna in Vrindavan, he separated Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, 5 types of rasas. And 7 types of Gona rasas, Hasya, Bhuta, Virya, Karuna, Rodha, Vibhakti, Sabhaya, Panchabheda Bhakti, Sapta Gona rasa hai. The Hasya, comedy, Adbhut, astonishment, Virya, chivalry, Karuna, the pathos, compassion, the pathetic mood, Rodra, anger, Vibhats, disgust and fear, all the 7 secondary rasas. Not only that, he showed the difference between sadhana bhakti, practice, bhav bhakti, in a state of ecstasy, realizing your swarup in this world, and then prema bhakti, when we leave this world and enter Krishna's lila. Then he, like a swan can separate milk from water, he looked at prem, great ocean of prema rasa, bhakti rasamrita sindhu, and he distilled the different levels of prem, sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag, bhav, mahabhav, rudabhav, adirudabhav, mohan, modan, and madanakya mahabhav, all these stages of prem and all of their symptoms. So if Rupa Goswami had not come into this world, who would have done it? Kauna Pratak Koripayata, who could have? If you come in this Gaudiya line and you begin to hear these things, it's quite amazing. But it's even more amazing if you compare with the other Sampradayas. They have a completely different conception, even if they're worshipping Radha and Krishna. Because Rupa Goswami is also separated within Madhuras, Swakiya and Parakiya. It's one thing to love Krishna thinking that Krishna is married to the gopis or married to Radharani and they all live happily in their home together in Nandagaon, and it's a completely another Leela, completely different. If Krishna is living in Nandagaon and Radharani, after living in Varsana, gets married to a gop, another cowherd boy, in Yavat, and now it's completely, they cannot meet, it's completely illegal. It will be scandalous if they would ever come together in any way. So now their love has to be completely secret. This is the Parakiya Rasa. Rupa Goswami has distinguished it. If you go to another Sampradaya like Vallabhi Sampradaya, then they'll say, Kahu Sarkiya, Kahu Parkiya, Kalahahi Matavadi, Jori Bhagavata Rasika Ki Nitya Ananta Anadi. Some people talk about Swakiya and Parakiya, but they're all quarreling with each other. As far as I am concerned, my Radha Krishna, Nitya Ananta Anadi, eternally with no beginning and no end. They're just together in the Kunj. So in Vrindavan, many are worshipping Radha Krishna just in Nitya Nikunja Leela. That means no Balaram, no cowherd boys, no Madhya Yashoda, no Nanda Baba, no the Gocharan Leela or anything. Only Radha Krishna in the Kunj, and some Sakis are there forever. It's not very Naravat, it's not very human-like. Because every human being has a mother and father, family, and some relation with society. And for Rupa Goswami, all of those things, they are the Rasupakar, they contribute to the intensity of Radha Krishna's love. Because another thing Rupa Goswami has revealed that others have not revealed in any other sampradaya, he was empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to manifest the speciality of Vipralamba Bhav, separation. If Radha Krishna are eternally together in the Kunj and there's no separation, then the actual intensity of meeting cannot be nourished to the highest point. So Rupa Goswami not only described meeting but also separation and different types of separation. Like Purva Rag, Man, Prema by Chitta, Pravas, Sudega Pravas. And then the meetings that take place after different types of separation are also different varieties of meeting as well. So, for example, Purvarag means the separation from Krishna when one has fallen in love with him but didn't get a chance to meet very closely with him yet. So the verses of Venu Geet are there. Gopis are thinking, oh, I am not so fortunate. Krishna is going out into the forest. The birds they have praying because the birds are following, the cows are following, the cows are praying. Even the trees are playing with him. He's climbing on the trees. He's swimming in the river. All are lucky except for me. I am so unlucky. I don't have praying. This is Purvarag. If meeting will take place after Purvarag, then how will it be? We were discussing this. First time Krishna met with Radharani, he sat down next to her. And she was very shy. This is the meeting after Purvarag is called the Sankship Sambhog. The meeting is somewhat, how can we say, abridged. It's a shortened type of meeting. All the qualities of the meeting are not fully manifest. So Krishna sat next to Radharani and he began to say some joking words, but Radharani was feeling so much shyness, she didn't laugh at his jokes. Krishna tried to put his arm on her shoulder, she went like this. Krishna tried to kiss her and she put a veil over her head and turned away. So the first meeting of Radha Krishna, it was a disaster. But when Krishna was leaving, he went, yes. He was so happy, he thought it was a great success. So this is one type of meeting, it's different. So they're all different varieties of meeting. If Krishna will meet with Radharani and she's in Man, she's upset with him because perhaps he met with another gopi, then this meeting, we were mentioned a few days ago, it's like a tapta ikshu, hot sugarcane juice. She still feels some burning of jealousy, but at the same time, Krishna is so sweet, she cannot reject him anymore. So there are different types of meeting. If Krishna will go away to Mathura or Dwarka and then come back, the meeting that takes place after long separation is very intense. Samriddhiman Sambhog. Like this. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he is like the swan, and he could separate not just one type of love, one lila in one place. That means that whole sampradaya is only Mantramaya Upasana. And 2 days ago we were saying, what was the Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam? On the one side to reveal the glories of Radhika's Mahabhav to the world, and on the other side to give to the people Kevala Madhurya Mai Swarasiki Upasana. Swarasiki Upasana, not serving in one leader, in one kunj, in one place, but going from Nandagaon, Yavat to Nandagaon, Nandagaon back to Yavat, from Yavat to Govardhan, Govardhan to Radhakund, like this, from Radhakund to Suryakund, from place to place, spontaneously flowing in the heart like television. This is the Swarasiki Upasana. So Rupa Goswami distinguished between all of these things. It's quite incredible. If you make a comparison, the great treasure, Tanbraja Prema Mahadvidikutalika, There are many saints in Braj. They have praying, they have realization, but they could not open the treasure that Mahaprabhu came to give. The key was with Rupa Goswami. And unless and until we surrender ourselves fully and become immersed in the Vichardhara, that means the current of the conception of Rupa Goswami, then we won't know why Mahaprabhu came. This is the thing. And also we give a little caution at the bottom of the page, a little footnote there. My Gurudev used to say that if you don't try to go deeply into the nuances, into the mysteries, into the various revelations which are there in the Vichardhara of Rupa Goswami, in the current of his conception, after some time, Maya will say, "Cuckoo, hello," and Maya will attract you, and you'll go into Maya, and then bhakti will become mixed with various things. You can become a lukewarm devotee. Even the Christian saints say the worst enemy of spiritual life is lukewarmness. That is, in spiritual life we have to be on fire. We have to be on fire. Of course that comes by mercy, not by our effort. But our enthusiasm should be fiery, at least, to try and to appreciate the descent of that grace. So don't be lukewarm. But if you don't become lost in the revelations of Rupa Goswami, for sure after some time you'll think, yeah, I know about bhakti. Some complacency will come and you'll go out into Maya. And if you're already there in Maya, this is the reason. So now come back into the Vichardhara, the current, flowing current of Rupa Goswami's conception. So here it's saying, Jabapita Bhampula Palata Nanabida Manaraji Aravinda. In the forest there are many flowers. But if you try to eat the flowers, you cannot understand what sweetness is in them. Only if a bumblebee will come and take the nectar from the flowers and make it into honey, then you can taste it. So in the same way, all the Shastras, the Puranas, and especially Srimad Bhagavatam, it is full of, each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is like a very beautiful flower, full of honey. But who can taste it? Rupa Goswami came there like a bumblebee, extracted the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam and made it into honey, and he's distributing through Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Vishwanath Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And this honey is coming, dripping in a Guru Parampara Nigamakapataru Galitam Phalam Shukamakut Amrita Drabasam. Draba means liquid flowing down. Pibat Bhagavatam, drink this nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam, Rasamalayam, until you faint. And then when you wake up, Muhu, drink it again and faint again. Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. In this world there are two types of people. Bhuvi means in this world. Rasika and bhavuk. Rasik means param rasik, those who have prema, and those who are coming from the spiritual world. They are the eternal associates of Radha and Krishna, they are really rasik. And then they feed this katha to those who are bhavuk. Those who have done sadhana and come to the stage of bhav, and by their mercy from bhav they can attain this rasa as well. So, pipata bhagavatam rasamalaham muvuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Ko janata maturara vrindavana ko janata brajanita. If Rupa Goswami had not come to this world, then who would know Mathura Vrindavan, the difference between Mathura and Vrindavan? What's the difference between Mathura and Vrindavan? It's the difference between two fingers. Nothing, they're side by side. Geographically, Mathura and Vrindavan are side by side. But from the perspective of rasa, they are millions and millions of miles apart. This is why the residents of Braj, they never want to go to Mathura, and the residents of Mathura, they don't want to go to Braj. The mood is quite different. In what way is it different? Rupa Goswami has revealed it, especially in Lalit Madhav Nataka. Jagat Harane, Prasada Sakala Jana Gaya Gavai Sukhapavat, all those who sing the glories of Rupa Goswami and glorify his lotus feet, by his mercy they relish extreme joy, extreme happiness. So the author Madhav Das is surrendering at the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami and loudly singing his glories
So this is our objective this evening, to loudly sing the glories of Rupa Goswami, and it may be that by his prasad, by his mercy, we can experience the Gai Gawai Sukha Bhavat, great transcendental happiness. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki Jai. Now, where did we get to? Oh yes, when we were discussing the life history of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. We discussed how he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first in Ramkeli, then how he escaped from his government service and again met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prague, not in the Czech Republic, Prayag. But you should also come to Prague. Will you come to Prague? Yes. He met with Rupa Goswami in Prayag and instructed him Rup Shiksha for about 10 days. Afterwards, Srila Rupa Goswami went to Vrindavan, and then he came to Puri and again met with Mahaprabhu. He was in Jagannath Puri for about 10 or 11 months, and then he went back to Vrindavan, and he never physically had the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again. Always in Vrindavan, he was feeling separation from Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu was Ridi yasya prairanaya pravatito ambaraka rupopi tasya hare parikamalam bande chaitanya devasya. Mahaprabhu was inspiring him to write each and every word of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwala Nilamani, to complete his dramas, Lalit Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav, his poems, Tavamala, Dankali, Komedi, and so on. So, in this way, he was connected to Mahaprabhu through that seva. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, fulfilling Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's innermost heart's desire, just as when you pluck the string of a tanpur in the center, then the vibration goes to both ends simultaneously. So in the same way, the ecstasies that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was realizing, he's realizing the moods of Radharani in the Gambhira, in Jagannath Puri. At the same time, those ecstasies are coming in the heart of Rupa Goswami. Because Priya Sarupe, Daita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Prabhureka Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhureka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe. Rupa Goswami is one with the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He himself is the vilas, a pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, when Rupa Goswami was staying in Vrindavan, he was wandering here and there, and very much he liked to stay in that place, halfway between Yavat and Nandagaon. It's called Terakadamba. So in Terakadamba, he was there writing his poetry. When he wrote about the separation of Radha and Krishna, he was weeping, and the leaves and petals were falling from the trees in sympathy with Rupa Goswami. And then when he wrote about the meeting of Radha and Krishna, then the flowers would burst into bloom again on the trees. Srila Sanatana Goswami was doing parikrama here and there, and one day he arrived at that place, Terakadamba, and Srila Rupa Goswami considers his elder brother, Sanatana Goswami, his guru, and calls him Prabhupada. Everywhere in the writings of Rupa Goswami you see Srimat Prabhupada Ambuja, Bhakti Siddhanta Amrita. My Prabhupada Sanatana Goswami has revealed all the Amrita of Bhakti Siddhanta through his Bhagavatamrita and so on. So, Srila Rupa Goswami gave pranams to his Prabhupada and sweet words, and they began discussing Harikatha. Namagana Sadharuchi, always taste in the holy name, and the Tadguna Khyane, always a taste in describing the qualities and pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So Rupa and Sanatan, they were having very beautiful Harikatha together, relishing Bhakti Rasa for a long time. And the thought came in the mind of Srila Rupa Goswami, oh, my Gurudev has come and I have nothing to offer him at all. So just then, one young girl came out from the village and said, oh Baba, here's some milk
and here's some sugar, and some rice, and some cardamom. You can make some kheer. And then she went away. But Rupa and Sanatan, they were so absorbed in the Harikatha that they just ignored that village girl who put the ingredients there. After some time, the village girl from far away, she was watching. But they didn't cook. Okay, I'll cook myself. So then she came and she took the ingredients. She took some dry leaves in her hand and she blew and fire appeared. And then she mixed them together. Very soon, in a moment, she made some kheer and came. Oh, Baba, if you have no time to cook, here's some kheer. And then she went away. But still, the Harikatha was flowing like a river. Tasmin mahan mukarinam marubich charitra piyusa shesha sarita parita sravanti. When the great souls speak Harikatha, it's coming out like rivers, flowing in all directions. So they were relishing. And then, after a long time, then Srila Rupa Goswami said, "Oh, Prabhupada, can I offer you some kheer?" So he gave some kheer to his brother. He said, "You should take also." So they put it in some leaf cups, and as soon as Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami tasted that kheer, their hairs were standing on end. They became stunned, they began to tremble. Tears were flowing from their eyes. And Srila Sanatana Goswami could realize a kheer could only be such amrita, such nectar, if it were made by the lotus hands of Srimati Radhika herself. He turned to his brother. "Hey Rup, when we were discussing Harikatha, did any other thought come in your mind?" Rupa Goswami said, he admitted, "Actually I was thinking, you have come here but I had nothing to offer you." Sanatana Goswami said, "Oh, when you hear Harikatha, speak Harikatha, don't have any other thought in your mind. Huh? What have you done? Now Radhika herself has come and cooked. What is the goal of our life? Do you want to be the dasi of Radhika, the maidservant of Radhika, or you want that Radhika should become your dasi?" And Sanatana Goswami chastised him, and Rupa Goswami very humbly accepted it. So then they ate that kheer, and they didn't wash their hands, they just... No need to wash if Radharani herself has cooked. You know that? See, Krishna has said, "Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryapasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam bahamyaham." If someone is always thinking of me, one-pointed, not thinking of anyone else, or anything else, and serving me in their heart, then whatever they have in their life, I maintain it. And if they need something, Krishna said, I personally bring it. That means he doesn't make the Mahatma move in such a way that it comes there, or that he sends it through someone else, another devotee or something. No, Krishna himself, Sham Sundar, with the peacock feather, Bangsiwala, that one, he personally comes and brings it himself. So, if someone is always thinking of Krishna and he has made that vrat to maintain them, then what to speak of Radharani? Karunam kurmai karuna varite sanaka sanatana vanitacha. Karunam kurmai. Rupa Goswami said, "Oh, Radhika, you are karunamai, you are made of mercy." Radhika is not less merciful than Krishna. We can say more merciful even. So if someone is ananyas chintayanto radham, then definitely yogakshemam mahamyaham. Radharani herself will come and bring whatever they need, and Rupa Goswami is the example here. One other confidential tattva I want to tell in this regard is that Sanatana Goswami is the incarnation of Labanga Manjari, and she was a little disturbed that though we are dasis of Radhika, but Radhika has served us. But Rupa Manjari is so intimate to Srimati Radharani. Radharani considers her to be her own body. She has no shyness in front of her whatsoever. And Rupa Manjari is so close that if sometimes Radhika will serve her, it's okay. So though Rupa Goswami very humbly accepted the chastisement of Sanatana Goswami, but in his heart he thought, not so bad. He accepted the chastisement to teach us. But Rupa Manjari is the chief of all the Manjaris. Just as Ananya Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Tabiya Eja Nija Rupataya Kalabi, all the gopis, they are the kala, the expansions of Radharani. So in the same way, all the Manjaris, they are the bodily expansions of Rupa Manjari. And therefore we are Rupanuga, the followers of Rupa. Rupa Goswami outwardly in Sadak form and Rupa Manjari inwardly in the Siddha form. There are many sweet pastimes with Rupa Goswami and his guru, his Prabhupada, Sanatana Goswami. Once upon a time, Rupa Goswami, he was chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. What is that? Sa Esha Jivo Vivara Prasuti. That means Krishna is coming, avatar. Nija Bala Bhajan Surit Sanatana Chita Vihara Avatar Chita Vihara Avatar Jaya Jaya Sundara Danda Kumar Jaya Jaya Sundara. Srila Rupa Goswami is writing, Nija Vallabhajan Surita Sanatana. That Nanda Kumar, the beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj, he's the eternal friend of my heart, and he's Surit Sanatan, he's the friend of Sanatana Goswami, my Gurudev. Nija Vallabhajan, who is very dear to him. Chitta Vihara Davata. And when we chant the holy names, then Krishna's Naam comes. He's the son of Nanda Maharaj himself. He does avatar and plays in your chitta. Chitta Vihara Davata. Jai Jai Sundara Nanda Kumar. So Srila Rupa Goswami was chanting the holy name and he was seeing beautiful pastimes of Radha Krishna in his heart. And at that time, there was one old Vaishnava, Kanja Krishna Das. He was lame. He had an injured leg. And he was walking in it was very difficult for him to walk. So he walked in a somewhat the comical way. And people used to laugh at him. But when he was walking past Rupa Goswami's eyes were closed in trance. He didn't even see him. But just as he walked past Rupa Goswami, then Rupa Goswami was seeing a beautiful hasyaras. That is madhuras, but with also infused with hasyaras, with humor, with comedy. And Rupa Goswami began to laugh. And at that time, that Kanja Krishna Das, so everyone laughs at me. Oh, today even the great sadhu like Rupa Goswami is laughing at my misfortune. Alas, alas. So Rupa Goswami didn't see anything. He's just seeing some beautiful lila. Radha Krishna's lila is very funny. Krishna is what? Vidagdo Navatarunya Parihasa Visharada Nistinta Dear Lalita Sa Prayan Prayasi Vashaha. He is the Dear Lalit Nayak, which means he's very artistic. And he's young and fresh and he's expert in laughing and joking. Once Srimati Radhika, she was in a contrary mood with Krishna. And Krishna approached her and said, "Oh Srimati, why are you Kupita?" Kupita means, why did you become angry? Kupita. Radharani said, "I am not Kupita, you are Kupita." Huh? Kupita means angry, or it can be, Ku means earth and Pita means father. Because Radharani has heard from the Purnamasi Devi, from the people repeating the words of Gargacharya, Tasman Nandatmajo Yamte Narayana Samo Gunai. Krishna has all qualities like Lord Narayan. Radhika has heard this. So he said, "Why are you Kupita?" "I am not Kupita, you are Kupita." "Kupita, you are the father of the world." "We have heard, you are Kupita." Then Krishna said, "All right, if I am Kupita, then you are Jaganmata." If I am the father of the world, you are the mother of the world. Somehow trying to persuade Radharani to give up her man and accept him. Radharani said, I am not Mata, you are Mata. Mata means mother, but Mata can also be the Ma means to measure or to know. So you are Mata, you have the state of knowing everything. You are omniscience. I am not Mata, you are Mata. Everything Krishna is saying, then Radharani is sending it back to him. Why are you Kupita? I am not Kupita, you are Kupita. Then you are Jagan Mata. I am not Mata, you are Mata. Krishna said, Parihasa Keli Kala Hey Ananta. Parihasa Keli. Parihasa Keli means pastimes of joking. And Kala means quarreling, arguments. And Ananta means endless. Radharani said, Krishna said to Radharani, are your laughing jokes and quarrels endless? Without any end? Radharani said, I am not Ananta, you are Ananta. Ananta means unlimited. Anta means end. Ananta, which has no end. Namo Nanta Leelaya Devaya Tubhyam. Krishna is Ananta Leela. Kim Brahma Janma Be Ananta Katara Sasya. There's unlimited Leela of Krishna, unlimited Rasa in Krishna, everything unlimited in Krishna. So his name is Ananta. And Anta means end. Ananta without end means sometimes if a gopi is wandering in the forest, Krishna may be hiding. And from his hiding place he may jump out and catch that gopi by her cloth. And then she tried to stop him. But because she is not so strong and Krishna is very strong, she cannot stop him from pulling her into a kunj on the bank of Jamuna. So because Krishna is unstoppable, his name is Ananta. Unstoppable. So his name is Ananta. Krishna's name is Ananta because Namaskar means to bow down. So Ta means one who has the state. So because Namta means the state of bowing down. So because Krishna is Supreme Lord, Ekalishwa Krishna, Arasaba Britya, Yari Aichenis Chai, Setaichi Kore Nircha, there is only one Supreme Controller, everyone dances according to his tune. All bow down to him. But because he is in the state that he does not have to bow down to anyone, his name is Ananta. Understand? His name is Ananta. So Krishna said, Parihasa Keliya Kalahe Ananta. Oh, are you unlimited? Is there no end to your loving quarrels? Radharani said, no, you are Ananta. So Krishna took that meaning, one who does not bow down. He said, alright, if I am Ananta, then I won't be Ananta anymore. And Krishna bowed down to Radharani. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Vagyuda Keli Kutake Brajaraj Sunam Jitwan Madama Dikadarpa Vikasa Jalpam Fula Birali Biranapumadiremanam Stotram Kadanu Babit. Abaloka Isya, Rupa Goswami said, when will that day be there? Be mine, when I will be Rupa Manjari. I now see Radha and Krishna have a war of words with each other. And Radharani will cut all the words of Krishna and be victorious, and Krishna will bow down. And then I'll say, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. So Rupa Goswami is chanting Harinam and seeing these things and laughing. But Kanja Krishna thought he's laughing at me. So just as the heart of Kanja Krishna Das was broken, that even Rupa Goswami laughed at him, then at the exact same time, the spurti of Krishna's lila disappeared. Spurti bang. His meditation was broken. Rupa Goswami was chanting again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But the form of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the lila of Krishna was not manifesting in his heart. But what happened? Rupa Goswami was very concerned about this. Now, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? He went to Srila Sanatana Goswami. Oh, Gurudev, please help me. I was chanting, and by your grace, some realization was there. But since that moment, just the other day, my heart is dry and I'm not experiencing any anubhav, any realization at all. What can I do? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taught to Rupa Goswami, Yadi Vaishnava Aparada Ute Hati Mata. If you commit offense to a Vaishnava, it's like a mad elephant that destroys your devotional creeper. So he was thinking, I don't remember that I've made offense to someone. Sanatana Goswami said, did you make offense to someone? I don't recall that I've made offense to anyone. Sanatana Goswami said, perhaps unknowingly you have made an offense to someone. Then Rupa Goswami was very worried. If unknowingly I've offended someone, then how will I apologize and get their mercy so that again I can progress in my bhakti? What can I do? Srila Sanatana Goswami, he was Sakar Malik, he was the Prime Minister in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah. He was very brilliant, a diplomat, very clever. He told Rupa Goswami, you should do this. Organize a festival of Kirtan and Harikatha and Mahaprasada and send out invitations to all the Vaishnavas in Braja. And if someone does, that person who does not come, that must be the person you have offended. So then Rupa Goswami, he has only one disciple, Jiva Goswami. So he sent Jiva Goswami out with the invitations. And Srila Jiva Goswami went everywhere in Braj inviting, please come, my Gurudev is having a Dharma Sabha, Kirtan Mela, Harikatha, sadhus will be there, Kirtan, Harikatha and Mahaprasadam. Please mercifully attend this festival. So that he went all over Braj and distributed those invitations. The time came for the day of the festival and all the Vaishnavas came. And it was very beautiful. Beautiful Kirtan and Harikatha. Afterwards Rupa Goswami with his own hand was serving them all. And he was looking. Who is not here? He asked Jiva Goswami, you delivered all the invitations to everyone. Is there someone you gave invitation to who didn't come? He said, oh yes, that Kanja Krishna Das. Then Rupa Goswami thought, oh, somehow, unknowingly even, I must have offended Kanja Krishna Das. So then Rupa Goswami himself went to that Kanja Krishna Das and he fell down at his feet. Vanja kalpatarubhyascha vipasando bevacha putitanam pavanibho vaishnavibho namo namah. Oh Prabhu, please forgive me for my offense. When Kanja Krishna Das saw him, he was very sincere. And he's a Vaishnava, so his heart is soft. And he said to Rupa Goswami, of course, you be peaceful. Rupa Goswami, he said, I have not done anything knowingly. But unknowingly, what offense have I made to you? Kanja Krishna Das said, oh, some days before, I was walking past and I walk in a very peculiar way. And you began to laugh at me. Rupa Goswami said, oh Prabhu, I didn't even see you. I was laughing because I was remembering some humorous pastime of Krishna. Then Kanja Krishna Das began to tremble and he fell at the feet of Rupa Goswami and said, oh, I have made offense to you. Please forgive me. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhu bhayavata putitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Rupa Goswami said, no, I made offense to you. No, I made offense to you. And they were begging forgiveness from each other. And they embraced each other with great love. And then after that, when Rupa Goswami began to chant Harinam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Again the Ananta Leela, the unlimited pastimes, the Swayam Prakash, the self-manifested flow of pastimes, began to flow within the heart of Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami has done this pastime. Why? For us. He cannot commit offense to anyone at all. It's not possible. But he has done this pastime to teach us what to speak of knowingly making an offense to another devotee. Be so careful that even unknowingly, that we don't act in such a way that anyway, somehow or other, that devotee will take offense. Because if we pinch the heart of any Vaishnava, then our own bhakti will dry up. if you want to have Anubhav, realization, transcendental realization, then you'll have to become soft as butter. Very, very gentle and loving with all of the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, no Anubhav, no, you cannot become Swarup Shakti Anugrahit, receive that mercy of Krishna's spiritual potency, which causes the Anubhav realization in the heart. So be very careful every day, bow down and pray to all the Vaishnavas. And then it's possible. Otherwise, not at all. So by this pastime, Srila Rupa Goswami has given some teaching to protect us, so that we'll one day have access to the Mahanidhi Kutarika, Kauna Kapata Udgarata, to the great treasure that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give. Let us come for a moment to the writings of Rupa Goswami. How he has described bhakti is unprecedented. And how bhakti turns into bhakti rasa. Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Yathotaram aso swada visheshullasamayapi rati basanaya swadvi basate kapi kasyachit. It means there are 5 rasas, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, and they are Yathotaram. They have increasing taste. Yathotaram, one above the other, they have increasing taste. And that is the Vishesh Ullasamayapi. They are Vishesh Ullasamai. Each one has gives a particular type of joy, which is more and more intense as you go up the rasas. So a question comes, if all the rasas were equally joyful or joy-giving, then people could be attracted to any of them, or this one on that day and this one on another day. But they're not. Some have this much ullas, joy, some have this much ullas, and this much more and more ullas, bhav ullas. So if they have different levels of joy-giving power, then everyone should just gravitate to the highest one. But we also see that they don't do that. So why does a person become attracted to one ras and not to another? This is the question. So Visheshullasa in the first line is raising this and giving the answer in the second half of the verse, that Rati Vasanaya Swadvi Vasate Kapi Kasyachit, which means that a person will find one particular mood particularly tasteful based on Rati Vasana. Vasana here means the samskars, impressions. So, our acharyas have raised the question, what makes one attracted to one mood of love rather than another mood of love? Is it because A, a person has no impressions, B, a person has different impressions of different rasas, or C, he has impressions of only one rasa? What is it? So, in case A, if a person has no Rativasanaya, that is no impressions of a staibhav, of a particular relationship with Krishna that come from sadhu sangha. You see, when we sit with the Rasik Vaishnavas and we hear from their lips the Shabda Brahma, the transcendental sound, which is carrying the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet. Yatu Todiya Charnambur Kosh Gandham Jigrantikarna Vivarashruti Vata Nitam Bhaktyagrihita Charana Padaya Paste Nai Paisi Nata Charnambur Hatsopumsam. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that Shruti Vata Nitam, the air of Harikatha is passing and it goes into the ears, and the Vaishnavas can smell the fragrance of the Krishna's lotus feet through the nose of the ear. The ear becomes a nose by which they can smell the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet. Because that fragrance, Srutivata Nitam, is carried on the wind of the Vedic sound. And then, when they smell the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet, then just like a bumblebee becomes excited. bumblebee, they become completely wired. When they can smell a lotus, and they go there and they just drink that honey. So the devotee becomes like that. Manamana sammadhukaram arpaya nijapada pantajamakaratte. Like a bumblebee, their heart is living and tasting the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. But naipasinata charnamburahat sopumsam. But Krishna, when he sees the love in the heart of the devotee is like a lotus flower. And in Gita, Krishna said, Yayatamam prapadyante, I reciprocate. Now Krishna becomes like a bumblebee and sings Manamana Samadhakaramar Payanija not pada, rit. And he becomes a bumblebee who's mad for the nectar in the heart of the devotee. So now the devotee is a bumblebee mad for the nectar in the lotus feet of Krishna, and Krishna becomes a bumblebee. He's mad for the nectar in the heart of the devotee. This is what it means to hear Harikatha. So as you are listening, then this purti of how Krishna is coming to you so lovingly, madly in love with you, in a particular mood, and this is called Rativasana. Understand? You experience Krishna coming towards you, and he's madly in love with you in a particular mood, and that leaves an impression. You may see it just for a few moments in your heart while you're hearing Harikatha, and it makes an impression that will not go away. That is called Rativasana. So if a person has no the Rativasanas, impressions from hearing, then they'll not be attracted to any mood. They'll not have taste. They'll not have enough taste in hearing, chanting and remembering for their bhakti to develop Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav. So then on the other hand, what if a person is associated with different types of Vaishnavas? They were hearing from one devotee who was telling about the glories of Lord Nishingadev. They heard from another devotee telling the glories of Lord Ramachandra. How Kaikeyi is coming and giving the Vaikalik Vastra, giving him the cloth made of bark and telling him, now you can go to the forests. And everyone is crying because Lord Ram is leaving Ayodhya. And you will see. And then on another day he's hearing about Lord Narayan. And then another day he's hearing about heroic Dwarkadish, who for the sake of his loving wife, Satyabhama, because, one day Narad Muni came to Dwarka with a parijat flower and said, "Oh Krishna, you said you would give me a benediction." Yes, yes. Well, I'm ready to collect my benediction now. I want to see you present this parijat flower to the most beloved of all your wives. Then Krishna was, "Oh, Narad, now you've put me in a very difficult situation." So Rukmini was his first wife. So Krishna gave to her. Then they had plausible deniability that had to give to her because she was the most senior. Right? Plausible deniability. So Krishna gave the parijat flower to to Rukmini, and then Satyabhama became angry and stormed out of the palace. And she went to the Kopa Bhavan. This is Vedic culture. If a wife is upset, she cannot just have an angry face and start shouting at the husband, The Vedas say, you must leave that auspicious place where a woman has an angry face. You should leave that inauspicious place. Leave at once the inauspicious place where a woman has an angry face. Even in English it rhymes. What to speak about in the Smriti Shastra. So in Vedic culture, the wife cannot go and be angry with the husband. She has to go to the anger room in the house called the Kopa Bhavan and lie down there. Then when the husband looks around and sees, "Oh, where is she?" "Oh, she's in the Kopa Bhavan." Then he can come very humbly and say, "Oh, my dear wife, are you upset? How can I help you?" And then it stops this endless quarreling. So everything is in Harikatha, even marriage guidance. So then Krishna went to the Kopa Bhavan. And he reached out to touch Satyabhama. "Oh, my dearest," and she became like a rattlesnake. "Don't call me your dearest." Then Krishna said, "Oh, you upset about one parijat flower? I gave her one. I will give you a whole tree. A whole parijat tree with many flowers on it." "Oh, you're a liar." No, come with me." And then he called Garuda and he took Satyabhama to the planet of Indra. And Indra didn't want to give up his parijat tree because it's his status symbol. Parijat trees are here in Swargalok, in my palace in heaven.
If the parijat tree will go down to earth, what will be the difference between my heaven and earth? It's like a Tesla, If everyone has a Tesla, then it won't be a status symbol, right? So then Indra said, no. And then Krishna had to fight with Indra, the king of heaven, and then take the parijat tree and bring it, and then plant it in the garden of Satyabhama. Then Satyabhama sent her maidservants out with invitations to everyone. Please come to Salon in my palace. But the real reason she invited all the queens to come is so that they can come and see she has a whole parijata tree in her garden. But they were not bothered because they don't have Madhu Sneha. Like she has Madhu Sneha, she gets jealous. The others don't have, except for Lakshmana actually. But the other 16,106 wives, they don't have Madhu Sneha, so they don't get jealous. Anyway, so, but at least that gave her great satisfaction. Everyone could see that Krishna loved her so much. So someone may hear that, oh, Dwarkadish is so loving to the queens and this samskar. So they have samskars from Dwarkadish, from Jagannath, from Nishingadev, from Lord Ramachandra, different samskars. Then when they come to do bhajan, then you go deeply into your heart. You have to look deeply into your heart. That you can find the impressions that will intensify into rati, bhav, and turn into rasa. But because there's a mixture of impressions, then one rasa will not manifest, and only rasabas will come. Yes, Vacharati. Rasabas will come. So this cannot be the cause of attraction to one rasa, because it will not make an intense desire for one rasa. So the answer is, a person is attracted to one rasa because of impressions in one mood. And therefore Rupa Goswami said, Swajataya Shei Snigde. Yes. Srimad Bhagavat Athanam Aswado Rasika Kai Saha. Sajataya Shei Snigde Sadhu Sangha Swato Bre. One must taste the many meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam in the company of Rasik Vaishnavas. Those Rasik Vaishnavas should be in the same one mood that you aspire to attain. They should be significantly more advanced than yourself, and they should have affection for you, sneha. But here, snigdhe, should be snigdha. That means that you should have served them in such a way that they have made a sankalpa. Oh, you will be my kripapatra, the recipient of my mercy. This is the meaning of snigdha. It's very important. First, Vaishnava Seva, melt the heart of that Vaishnava, then they make that sankalpa, then associate, and here, then the rati vasana, the samskars will come in one mood, and then you'll naturally be attracted. Otherwise you'll be like many devotees, like a ship in the ocean with no compass, no rudder, and no sail, wondering where do I go in bhakti. I don't know which Krishna, what Krishna, how to serve, what mood or anything. So Rasik Vaishnav Sankar is very, very important. So Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes the eligibility for Bhakti Rasa. Eligibility is Praktan Aduniki Chasti Yasya Sad Bhakti Vasana Esha Bhakti Rasasvadas Tasyaiva Ridijayate. He said that the taste in rasa will arise in the heart of that person who has the Yasya Sad Bhakti Vasana, the impressions of the pure bhakti, experience of pure bhakti. How? Which is praktani and adhuni. Adhuni means today, or now, or modern, contemporary. But here adhuni means impressions from this lifetime. Like right now, you're getting some impressions in one mood. Adhuni. But praktani means from a previous life. So praktanya aduniki cha asti. The word cha means and. In other words, it's essential. One who will experience rasa must not only have the impressions from this life, but they must have impressions up to the stage of rati from the last life in order to experience rasa in this life. So in the commentary, Jiva Goswami Pad says, Praktani chavasyam mrigyata
Mrigyata means you have to search. Bhavanayapadeyastu buddhaina anyanya buddhina. With ananya buddhi, one-pointed concentration, you have to search deeply in your subconscious mind and find the praktan sanskars, the impressions of the rati from the last life. And that will be compounded with the impressions from this life, and the impressions will be very strong, and then the rati will become rasyata, full of flavor, and turn into the experience of rasa. So how this happens, Srila Rupa Goswami describes in his next verses. Very beautiful suite of verses, they're very important. He says, we're trying to do sadhana. In this life we're trying to do sadhana, to go through anartha nivritti and get some nishta, some steadiness. Nishta hoila upajai prema rataranga. After nishta we start to feel some love. So, but those who are more advanced, they have nishta, perhaps from the last life, and in this life they're progressing, ruchi, asakti, they can come up to the level of rati, bhav. But even in that life they will not experience rasa. The next life they can experience rasa, and in their meditation they search out the deep impressions, gada sanskar from the previous life and this life, and they combine together. So Rupa Goswami now is going to describe those who are qualified for the experience of rasa. He said, Bhakti nirduta doshanam prasan ujjvala chaitasam Sri Bhagavata Rakthanam Rasika Sangha Ranginam. The meaning is, first of all, Bhakti Duta Doshanam, all the faults have already been washed away. We have many faults in our behavior and personality. So we are not qualified for Bhakti Rasa. But those whose faults have been washed away by the power of Bhakti. So Bhakti Nirduta Doshanam. Heart is clean. And because of that, they are Prasanna Ujjvala Chaitasam. Their chitta is a Prasanna Ujjvala. Prasanna means very joyful. And Ujjvala means shining. So they're always happy. If you are sometimes becoming depressed, sometimes becoming cranky, sometimes becoming angry, sometimes becoming lusty, greedy, thirsty, whatever. So there's not Prasanna Ujjvala, Chaitasam. But here, these two words have a very great significance. Prasanna means the influence of Ladini Shakti, the pleasure potency. And Ujjvala, the brightness, is the Sambit Shakti. So Ladini and Sambit combined together is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryansu Samyam. So the heart is illuminated by a ray of the sun of Prem, that is Bhav. Prasanna Ujjvala Ladini Sambit. Prasanna Ujjvala Chaitasam. And that person is Sri Bhagavata Raktanam, attached to Srimad Bhagavatam. Very attached. Means because of the sanskars from the previous life. All the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are living in their throat. And coming out here and there, everywhere. So who has got the strong sanskars from the previous life, automatically they are called the Bhakta Bhagavat. One is the Grantha Bhagavat, the book, and the other is the devotees walking, talking, breathing, singing, dancing Bhagavat. All Srimad Bhagavatam is living in the heart of that devotee and coming out again in a flow. So they are Sri Bhagavata Rakthanam, means they're attached to that. What is it saying, Srimad Bhagavatam? Every single syllable. Krishna Tuli Bhagavata Vibhusavasrai Prati Shloke Prati Akri Nana Artakai. Not every word of the Srimad Bhagavatam, every syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam, there with a magnifying glass trying to go into that. And understand, it's very significant, not one meaning, but many, many meanings. Nana Artakai in each syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we were discussing earlier, Dadrishu. This is in the perfect tense. That means that they could not feel any happiness before, but now they're happy. But every single syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam has the oceans and oceans of meaning. So those devotees, what do? Rupa Goswami is saying, Rasika Sangha Ranginam.
they go in the association of Rasiks, and there they are Ranginam. Ranginam means, enjoying like mad. They enjoy so much Rasik Vaishnava association. Sitting with the Rasik Vaishnavas and churning the nectar of each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Venu Geet, Pranay Geet, Gopi Geet, Yugal Geet, Brahmar Geet, Viraha Geet. So, Rasika Sangha Ranginam. Once there were two Vaishnavas. They were so attached to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing Harikatha. One of them would always speak, the other one would always listen. And they would forget about time, they forgot everything. They would forget to eat and sleep even. So their wives gave them a very strict instruction, don't go anywhere without telling us first. Because after many, many hours, their wives would come and say, you have to go home now and eat something. You've been talking for 3 days, come and eat. So then one day, they were wandering off into the forest, wandering around Braj. They sat down beneath the Kalpavriksha tree there and they were having Harikatha. And many, many days passed, long time passed. And their wives were so disturbed. Where's my husband? The other wife was, where is my husband? And after a long time they were searching, and finally they came in the forest and there were two skeletons sitting there in the forest. So then each wife was thinking, I have to do the final rituals for my husband has passed away. But there's only two skeletons, so which one's my husband and which one's your husband? So then one of the wives said, well look, your husband, he always used to like to speak. He relished speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And my husband, he always relished hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's look closely. And then she looked closely at one of the skeletons. And she saw one of the skeletons had millions and millions of tiny holes in the bones. So that woman, her husband was the one who liked to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, this is my husband. Because he's hearing with his bones. Every atom of his body, he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, completely absorbed. So I said, this is my husband, and she did the last rites for that skeleton, and the other one did the last rites for the other. So Rasika Sangaranginam, to be Bhagavata Raktanam, deeply attached, that you want to hear and chant for days and nights without thinking of eating or sleeping, listening with every pore of your skin, with every bone in your body. This is Bhagavata Raktanam. A Bhagavat Vaishnav means that person who cannot live without Srimad Bhagavatam. He'll die without Srimad Bhagavatam. He is called a Mahabhagavat. But we have to say that even there are some things that you cannot even find in the Shastra. Is it true? Yeah. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking with Ramananda Rai, Mahaprabhu said, explain about Sajja, the goal of life, but give Shastra Praman. And Ramananda Rai was going up and up and up and up. And he came to Anayara Nunam Bhagavan Harishwara, how Krishna left all the other gopis to be with Radhika in the Rasa Leela. He was describing so many things. But he came to the point where he ran out of Shastra Praman. And then he said to Mahaprabhu, I don't know if it will be pleasing to you or not, but only what I can say next is my own poetry. So in Braj, they also say, Veda Rasika Kivani. What is Ved? Really Ved? Rasika Vani. The instructions of the Rasiks, the words of the Rasik. Because the divine confidential Nikunja Leela of Radha and Krishna is beyond the purview of the Vedas even. Rupa Goswami himself said, Harim Madishyate Rajobara Puratha Sangyattamum Tama Brajbama Drisham Napadati Prakata Savadrishaha Suterapi. Rupa Goswami. It's evening time, like now. The sounds are there in Braj. Oh Saki, leave your cooking. Krishna's returning to the village. Oh Saki, stop teaching poetry to the parrots. Krishna is coming. The evening time is coming.
And gopis, whatever they're doing, they're dropping everything and they're running to their roofs and their balconies and to their gates to have a glimpse of Krishna as he will come in. But before Krishna is returning to the village, then Harimu Dishyate Rajobara. What is it pointing out that Krishna is returning? Rajobara. All the dust has risen into the air. Because he's coming with millions of cows. So before Krishna is coming, first you see all the dust rising in the forest. You can't actually see who's coming. So Harimu Dishyate Rajobara Purata Sangyatamuntama. And when he comes to the village, then the sun sets, it goes dark. And that's the time when the gopis can go and meet with Krishna. Not before then. So there are two things that allow you to see the meeting of Krishna with the gopis. Rajobara, a lot of Raja, dust, and Tama when it gets dark. So two things, Rajas and Tamas. Only those who experience Rajas and Tamas will get to realize the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. But the rishis and the sages, their hearts are free from Rajas and Tamas. They have a nirmala chitta. But Brajabama Drishamam na padati. Those who don't follow the padati of the Braja Gopis, then prakata sarvadrisha sruterapi. Even if you are sarvadrisha, an omniscient rishi who knows all the mantras of all the four Vedas, you are a Chatuvedi. But still, you cannot know anything about Krishna because Krishna's divine Leela is covered by Rajobara, a lot of Rajas and a lot of Tamas, dust and darkness. It's beyond the Vedas, beyond the visions of the rishis. It is only possible. Bhamadrisham, Braja Bhamadrisham na padati. You follow the padati of Braja Gopis, then you can do it. So those who have followed Gopis, what they realize, even beyond Shastra. So Srila Rupa Gosvami part, what he has expressed, no one had expressed before. Who can express this love of Radha and Krishna? If you go to Krishna, ask him what is Radharani's love like, Krishna will say, I don't know. I can't understand Radharani's love. That's why I have to be as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you go to Radharani and say, can you explain to me about your love? Radharani will say, Na prema gandosti durapa me haro. Kandami saubhagya baram prakasitam. Bangsi belasana nalokanam bina. Bibami tat prana patanga kambrita. Radharani will say, I don't know anything about love. I have no love. I have no love. Love is very far away. I don't know what love smells like even. Because when Krishna is away and I don't see his smiling face playing upon the flute, still I stay alive. Why do I stay alive? For what reason? My pran is biting me like an insect. But still I don't want to give up my pran. So the fact that I don't die in separation from Krishna proves I have no love. Akaitava Krishna Prem Jaino Jambu Nadahe Sehi Prema Nilo Kenahoy Sehi Prema Nilo Kenahoy Yadi Hoya Chara Yoga Tabe Hoina Viyoga Viyog Hoila Seho Nadia. Radharani said, I have no love. There's no pure Akaitava Krishna Prem, love for Krishna without cheating. In this world, it's like a Jambu Nadahim in the heavenly planets. And there's a tree on the top of Mount Sumeru, and it has jambu fruit on it. And they're huge, and they fall thousands and thousands of miles. And when they hit the ground, they burst, and the juice of the jambu fruit makes a river. That's called the Jambu Naad. And when the waves of this river mixed with the mud on the banks, on the heavenly planets, then it dries and it becomes gold, and the demigods decorate themselves. This is the most pure gold. In this world, the most pure gold is 24 karat gold, but this is 25 karat gold. You cannot get it anywhere in this world. It's not available in this world. So Radharani said, pure love for Krishna is like the gold of the Jambu Nad. It's just not available in this world. And what is the proof? That if you have love and you meet, that love is so powerful that nothing can separate you. And if somehow or other the lovers are separated from each other, then they cannot stay alive, they immediately die. So when Krishna has gone, I am still alive. This is the Praman. I have no love. So then how will you find out about Radhika's prema? Krishna cannot tell you, he does not know. Radharani will deny that she has any love at all. If you go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani, so then though he's realizing Radharani's love, he'll say, Na prema gandosti durabhamero. I don't know what love is. Then where will you go? You can go to Swarup Damodar Goswami, the incarnation of Lalita Sakhi. But Swarup Damodar Goswami has not written any books. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita he said, of all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar was the most learned, but no one knew because he never spoke to anyone. He was always, just consider that for a moment. He was the most learned person of all the associates, but no one knew because he didn't speak. But he used to speak with Mahaprabhu in the Gambhira. And whatever mood was coming in Mahaprabhu, then all the verses of Bhagavatam and Geet Govinda, he would sing them in so many ragas. Smarati mano mama krito parihasam harim hiya bhito vilasam. Smarati mano mama. He's singing the song you can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Geet Govinda. So Swarup Damodar will not tell you anything. Go to Ramananda Rai. This is a little bit better. He's written one book, Jagannath Balab Natakam. And he's described something about the Purva Raga of Radha Krishna and their meeting. But he has not openly described the beautiful Nikunja Lila or the service of the Manjaris there. So then from whom can you know? Only from Rupa Goswami Pad. So my Gurudev used to say, the speciality, the Vaishishta of Rupa Goswami Pad is that he is Vachal. Vachal means talkative. Rupa Goswami's speciality is Vachal, he's talkative. What no one else has said, Rupa Goswami has said. Yasyam karandita sirastharap tavamana bange. Very beautiful services of the maidservants of Radhika, who are realizing Radhika's love. My Gurudev used to say, if you follow the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami, but still you will not be Rupanuga. Why? Because there he's described all the moods, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya. Only touch Madhurya. Then someone will say, but if I follow Ujjwala Nilamani, then I'll be Rupanuga. No. Because there he has described 360 different moods of heroines. Radharani's moods manifested in 360 different types of heroines. But he's not elaborately described his own mood. But when you follow Gandharvasam Pratanastakam, Chatu Puspanjali, Karapanya Panjika Stotram, and especially the swan song of Rupa Goswami, Utkalika Vallari, then you can become Rupanuga. Because only in those poems, Srila Rupa Goswami expressed his own mood. Therefore, two things are here. Rupa Goswami is saying, Sri Bhagavata Rakthanam Rasika Sangha Ranginam. One is to be attached to Bhagavatam, but also relishing the Rasikvani, which even, it's the expansion of the Dwani of the Bhagavatam, but you cannot see it directly without their association. The Rasik Vaishnavas are explaining and revealing the confidential things related to your Sambandha that you want to attain in your spiritual life. So then, Rupa Goswami, he's describing now what the stages you have to go through, the qualification of a person who will realize Bhakti Rasa. So now Rupa Goswami, he's saying, Jivani Bhuta Govinda Pada Bhakti Sukasriyam Premantaranga Bhutani Kritvani Eva Vatishtatam. The meaning is, this person, his whole life is dedicated to a treasure. And that treasure is the joy that he feels in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda Dev. Divyad Brindaranya Kalpa Drumada Srimad Ratnagara Sinhasanasto Sri Sri Radha. That's his whole life. Bhakti, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving. Here Kirtani means all the activities of bhakti. All the different types of service to the deity, to the Vaishnavas, where the pleasure of Govinda Dev is the center of everything. Then, Bhaktanam Ridi Rajanti Sanskara Yugolujvala Rati Ananda Rupaeva Niyamana tu Rasyatam. Now, actually, up to that verse, the description of the sadhana is complete. The anustita means the sadhana. The practice of sadhana is complete up to there. Now he's describing how the devotee experiences rasa. So there are two things, rasa and sahai. Sadhana and sahai. Sadhana means the practice that you do, and then sahai means the assistant. What is the assistant or the helper to relishing bhakti rasa? So of these four verses, the first two have completed the sadhana, the life of the devotee. Now the next two verses are describing the sahai, the assistant to the sadhana by which bhakti rasa is experienced. So what is the sahai? Here it is said, sanskara yugolujvala. Sanskara yugal. Two types of samskars. And they are praktan and aduniki. Praktani and aduniki. So the devotee is doing mrigyata, searching out in the core of his heart the impressions of Vaishnava association in this life and going deeply, and that's compounded by the impressions from the previous life. And then what happens? Krishnadi bir vibhavadhyay gata anubhavadhvani praudananda chamatkara kastam apadyate param. The deep impressions are rising up and he's beginning to experience the rati, his own particular relation with Krishna. Then vibhav, the things which stimulate that relation. The vibhav alamban and udipan, and among the alamban, ashray lamban, vibhav and vishay lamban, ashray lamban. These are some technical terms. If you know some rasa tattva, you can understand. And the anubhav, the sattvika bhavs, and the vyabhachari bhavs, all the ingredients arising in his heart. But for it to go to rasa, he needs the sahai, the help of another life samskars. And more Shuddha Sattva comes, and then these ingredients mix together, and his rati becomes rasita, extremely relishable. And then gradually, praudananda, he gets a very mature bliss. Praudananda chamatkara, and he's in a total state of astonishment. Kastam apadyate param, and attains paramakasta, the high state of joy. So this is the way that bhav turns into rasa. Rupa Goswami has described it so beautifully. How can we imagine? No one can imagine. But Rupa Goswami, for example, let's take an example. If the devotee is realizing in his heart the vibhav. So vibhav means that which stimulates your love. So prominently, that means the ashray alamban and vishay alamban. The object of love and the abode of love for him. Krishna and Radhika. So if a person in their chanting, from the spurtis of coming from association of pure Vaishnavas, they begin to experience Krishna. How is Krishna? Krishna is very eagerly wandering through the forest of Vrindavan, looking here and there. Perhaps I'll meet some gopi here today. Perhaps I can meet with Radhika here today. Then suddenly he sees Aisha Nantika Vartini Suragile Ila Vritahantabu Agre Kim Kalayami Kanchana Rucham Udgara Gauri Disha Amgyatam Maninupura Dwani Bharam Ali Janalankrita Kantinam Paradevata Velasitum Vrindata Vivindati. Suddenly the whole forest of Vrindavan becomes golden. There's a golden light spreading everywhere. And it's making Krishna tremble, and his hairs are standing on. He wonders, oh Madhu Mangal, where did I come? What is this place? have I come into the valley of the Sumera mountain called Ilavrita. You know, there's a place called Ilavrita. And Ilavrita, everything there is golden because it's bathed when the rays of the sun shine off Sumer golden mountain. Then the whole forest becomes golden. And Krishna is, suddenly he thinks I've wandered into Ilavrita. So here comes the Tirobhavs. What is the Tirobhav here? Tarka. Tarka is when you're arguing with yourself. Where am I? Am I here? Am I there? So Krishna's thinking, did I come to Ilavrita? Everything is golden here. But then he argues with himself, no, I haven't come in Ilavrita. Why? Because he's feeling very amorous attraction. He's calm. He's intensified by this golden effulgence. And the thing about Ilavrita is, if anyone enters into Ilavrita because of the curse of Lord Shiva, they turn into a woman. Right? So at first Krishna, have I come to Ilavrita? And then he could feel his whole body feeling ecstatic, amorous attraction to someone. And then he realized, oh no, I'm still a man. So I cannot be in Ilavrita. This is the Dhwani. So then he says, Amgyatam. Oh yes, Amgyatam is, yes, I know. I'm not in Amgyatam. Yes, I know. I'm not in Ilavrita. What is this? Amgyatam maninupara dhwaniparam. I can hear sweet sound of ankle bells. So this golden light must be coming from a golden complexion woman. Who could it be? Angyatam, yes, I know. Kantinam paradevata vilasatum brindata vibindati. It must be that today the goddess of Kanti, the goddess of effulgence, has come wandering in the forest of Vrindavan. But what is this? Krishna's doing, his Tirobhavs are coming, Tarka Vitarka, arguing with himself. He's seen Radhika many times. He's seen the effulgence of Radhika many times. But today he's seeing the effulgence of Radhika, he doesn't recognize her. Why? Adina anta viharako dopriyalalme baina chinari. Even though Radha Krishna are meeting together and enjoying their pastimes with no beginning and no end forever, but when they meet each other, their prema is so intense that they don't recognize each other. Kobala, who is that boy? Who is that girl? Because that is the meaning of Madhurya. Madhurya means Sarva Manoharam. It steals your mind. It does buddhi nash, destroys your buddhi. Your vivek nash. Discrimination is lost. You cannot understand who is this person. And then Krishna sees Radhika. When Radhika is approaching Krishna, then even though she is very eager to see him, then man comes in her heart. So this is a Tirobhav. Sringarayani bhavitim abhisaryani visyaiva idkantavadanam parivrittiyantim drittvanchalena harisani adayami samprapyatarina sadam rishita bhavani. Srila Vishnu Thakur said, when will I decorate Radhika beautifully from head to toe and bring her through the forest to meet with Krishna? But then when she's just approaching him, she gets all in man and turns around and starts walking away. Then I'll grab her by the veil and start pulling her towards Krishna. And she'll shake a finger at me and fill my ears with the nectar of her abuse. Let go of me. I'm not a loose woman like you. I'm going home. Huh? Yes. Oh, nectar in the ears. But then that manju will bring Radhika very close to Krishna. And when Krishna sees Radhika, then, at once, he's standing in Tribhanga form. Look, there. He's just meeting with Radhika right here. And what does he do? Krishna goes in Tribhanga form. This Tribhanga form means Lalit Bhav. There are 20 Bhav Alankars. Now we're discussing the Rasa Samagris. So here's Anubhav. Among the Anubhavs, there are Vachik Anubhavs and Kayika Anubhavs. That means reactions in the body, in the mind, in the words. So one of the Bhav Alankars, one of the ecstatic Bhav decorations of Bhav, ornaments of Bhav, is called Lalit. So when Radhika is really eager to meet with Krishna, she just can't help it, but her head goes on one side, and her hip sticks out, and she crosses her feet, and her eyebrows move. This is called Lalit Bhav. So when Krishna remembers or thinks of the sweetness of Radhika when she's really, really eager to embrace him, but she's holding herself back, then Krishna himself becomes bewildered and he stands like this and moves his eyebrows. This is called Lalita. Lalita Madhava Bame Brishabhanu Kanya Nila Vasana Gauri Rupi Gone Danya. Krishna's Lalita comes, he's so crooked, like this. Then the gopis say, Arisaki Arivenu Badabahuya Yukta Girivara Daratopi Prakshaniya Sakibi Haririya Saralanga Srigiri Dharanepi Yadi Kalakil Venu Sandrito Vakrimapaha. Look at Krishna. I think that this flute must be very heavy. Because when he was lifting Govardhan Hill, he was standing up straight. But when he picks up his flute, so his flute must be very heavy. Why is Krishna's flute so heavy? Venu gite dake radhiko naam esho esho radhe tako isha. Krishna's flute is heavy because Radha Naam is coming from the flute. So then he becomes Tribhanga. Krishna wants to speak with Radhika, but she's overwhelmed. And man, that is the Kautilya Abhas. That is the semblance of crookedness comes from her pranay. She has so much deep love with Krishna. She feels such oneness, some confidence. She thinks even if I criticize and abuse him, he cannot give me up. So the man is coming on the basis of pranay. Kautilya Abhas. So then Radharani looks at Krishna and says, "You Vakrishva." Because you Vakrishva, you are crooked Krishna in 3 places. How are you crooked in 3 places? Ado, Madhye, Chante, Bangsika, Rasika. When you play your flute, you are crooked in 3 places. You are crooked in the past, the present, and the future. You are crooked in the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything. So I think that you are like Vakrishva. Because Vakrishva is one deity of Lord Shiva. And it means the Lord of Vakra, crookedness. So Vakrishva, Lord Shiva, destroys the universe. So Radharani, she says, Kalakrita Jagati Pralaya. Hey Krishna, when you play your flute, just as Lord Shiva, Vakrishva destroys the universe, so you also destroy the whole universe. The universe is one way, after you play your flute, it becomes another way. Right? Everything becomes astavyasta. Everything is misplaced everywhere. Kastranga teikala padaya tavenu gitam. Samorya arya charitam nachalet trilokyam. Trilokya sobadam idam chaniriksha rupam. Yet go dvija druma mrigan pulakanya bipram. Gopis have said, oh, what religious woman, upon hearing the sound of your flute and seeing your beauty, will not deviate from the Arya path, from the path of the Aryan life and from the Vedas? But not only the women of the universe, but even the cows, they only know eating. When you play your flute, they give up their dharma of eating. The birds know fluttering around here and there. When they hear your flute, they give up their restless dharma and sit like meditating like sages. The deer, their dharma is to be shy, but when you play your flute, with giving up their shyness, they come out of the forest and approach you. So everyone gives up their dharma. All dharma is destroyed when you play your flute. So Krishna, you are Vakrishva, you are crooked in 3 places, past, present, future, beginning, middle, and end, and you destroy the whole universe by your flute playing. So this way Radharani is giving a very good insult to Krishna. But what's the nature of love? Stotram yatra tastatam prakatayat chityasya gatam ninda pi pramadam prachati parihasasriyam vibhyati. Praying is such that if you speak some nice compliment to the person becomes upset, thinking, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? Praying makes everything backwards. It's the nature of praying. Deko me sunaye eka batna me brahma nirakara rahyo gokula meke nanda yashoda kega Prema Nadya ki sada ulta bahida. Oh look, I'll tell you something which is a complete mismatch. What is that? Oh, that Nirvishesh Niraka Brahma that all the sages are meditating on, if you look closely, he's a coward boy, he's playing in Gokul. Huh? And very attached to his devotees. Huh? Nanda Yashoda Kiga. Prema Nadiyaki Sada Ota Bahida. Who can cross over the river of love? Because it flows in such a way that it turns everything upside down. So Radharani is saying, criticizing Krishna. But Nindapi Pramadam Prayachati Pariyasasrayam Vibrati, when the lover and beloved, they insult each other, then they become very happy. And they feel a great treasure of joy in their heart from those ninda, from that ninda. Nindapi Pramadam Prayachati Pariyasasrayam. Rupa Goswami. I am quoting all these verses. This is Rupa Goswami. Yankali Rupa Sharanana Daratatam Braja Prema Mahanidhi Kutrika. He opened the treasure. So then when Radharani insulted Krishna, then for the pleasure of Radharani, Krishna will insult Radharani also. Huh? She said, oh, you have said that I am Vakrashra. So if I am Vakrashra, you are Astavakra Rishi. Huh? Vakrashra is crooked in 3 places, but Astavakra Rishi is crooked in 8 places. Vachi kacha bruvi dristo smite prayane avaguntane ridicha. Astavakriyatam bande. Krishna said. I bow down to Astavakra Rishi. You are Astavakra Rishi. You are crooked in 8 places, not 3. First of all, you are crooked in Vachi, your words are crooked. Why? Because Radharani loves Krishna, but when she sees him, then what does she do? She's insulting him. So Vachi, your words are crooked. Vachi, kache. Kachi means your hair. Radharani's hair is tied in a tight vaini. But in the Nikunjas, overwhelmed in ecstasy, when Radhika has sattvic bhavs, then her vaini comes open and her hair becomes like a mass of curls, like clouds in the monsoon season. Huh? So Vachi Kachi, your hair is crooked, curling. Vachi Kachi, Bruvi, your eyebrows are crooked. If a woman has very, very long eyebrows and also curving like that, then very beautiful. So Radhika is Bruvi, your eyebrows are crooked. And Dristi, your glance is crooked, because Radhika never looks directly at Krishna. She's always looking kataksh. Kadakarishasya mam kripa kataksha bhajanam. It's this anubhav. We're discussing rasa. How all the ingredients of rasa come in the heart. Why does someone look from the side? Because if someone has a very steady chitta like a rishi, then they can look at the tip of the nose and focus there, like that. But if someone's chitta is tarangit, with waves of emotion, then the eyes dart from side to side. They become restless like the Chakitacharu netra. Chakitacharumuru netra. Like a deer. You know, a deer has very big eyes, and if they're in the forest, and if they're startled, then the eyes go like that. And it's because the heart is tarangit. So these are the anubhavs. So Krishna said, your words are crooked, your eyebrows are crooked, your hair is crooked, your glance is crooked. Then, smite, your smile is crooked. Because Radharani is trying to not smile at him, but she cannot stop it. So she's trying to have a straight face, but a little smile is coming. Your smile is crooked. And smite prayane, the way that you move is crooked also. Radharani's name is Gajagamani, means who walks like an elephant. You see elephant, they're very big. If you look at the elephant from behind, when they step with one foot, then the whole body swings this way, and then they step with the other, and the whole body swings that way. And then they step with the other foot, and the whole body. So Radharani is the Nakuru Nitambini Gamanavalambana. Radhika has very broad hips, and as she walks, they're moving from side to side. So Prayane, the way you walk is crooked. Avagante, and that means your veil, because Radhika's veil is very fine and always in waves. So your veil is crooked, and the last one, Riddhi, your heart is crooked. Heart of Radhika is crooked. Why? Aheri vagati premna swabhava kutila bhavet. Ato hetos ahetoscha yuno mano udanchati. It is the nature of young couples when they meet that their love moves like in a crooked way like a snake. So they always become upset with each other for no reason.
or sometimes with a reason and sometimes without a reason, due to man. So Krishna said, so I bow down to you. You are Astavakra. You are crooked in 8 places. So this is Rupa Goswami's poetry. I'm just quoting Rupa Goswami's poetry. But what you should know about poetry, Kavya Purush, that means the personality of poetry is a person. So the body of the Kavya Purush is made of words and their meanings. And then the ornaments on the Kavya Purush are the alankars, the figures of speech. So you have metaphors, onomatopoeia, similes, and so on. And then the Kavya Purush has pran. So the pran of the Kavya Purush is Dvani. And what's the atma of the Kavya Purush? Rasa. Raso Vaisaha. I was asking you.
I thought you were looking at me.
Okay. So the Dvani, nectar is there in the Dvani in Rupa Goswami's poetry. So though these are the words of Rupa Goswami's poetry, but what is the Dvani? Dvani means the suggestion. Like if there's a bell and you hit the bell, down, it makes a sound, but then it goes mom, mom, and there are waves of sound. So in the same way, when the poem hits your heart, that's the meaning of the words. But the Dvani is the waves of realization that come afterwards. They are the suggestions within the poem. So the Dvani of this poem is, oh, Radhika, you are like Astavakra Rishi is quite ugly actually. Right? But you are like Astavakra. This is a discussion of, the Dvani here is, Radhika, you are so beautiful. Because only a woman who walks in a crooked way, who glances in a crooked way due to anubhavs, whose hair is beautifully curling, whose eyebrows are curling, and so on. So the Dvani of this is, oh, he wants to say, oh Radhika, you are so beautiful. But because of a prem vilas, the nature of prem in the heart, everything is coming out backwards. Prema nadia kisada ulta bahida. The river of love makes everything upside down. So then we have anubhav. Here's another anubhav here. Ukti pratyukti. Ukti pratyukti means giving saying something and getting a reply, and giving a reply to that and giving it quickly. Radha Krishna answering each other back and forth. Ukti pratyukti is another anubhav. So the rasa samagris, the ingredients of rasa are appearing, and the devotee who has the deep samskars, he can experience and relish it. So ukti pratyukti. So this is the Dvani. Krishna really means to say, oh Radhika, today you look so beautiful. But what does he say? You're like Astavakra Rishi, very ugly Rishi. But Radhika can feel the Dvani because Radhika is Rasik. Krishna is Rasik, Radhika is Rasik. Without Radhika, Krishna would not be Rasik actually. He would be Vairasik without any rasa at all. It's like, Krishna is like sugar cane juice. Krishna is like sugar cane. If you want to taste the juice, you have to put it through the grinding machine. So when Krishna goes through the grinding machine of Radharani's man, then the ras comes out of Krishna. Otherwise, there's no ras in Krishna. So, this is one Dvani. But then, if poetry is very beautiful, Rupa Goswami's poetry has not only Dvani, but Anudvani. The next level of suggestion, Dvani, Anudvani. So the next level of suggestion is that because Krishna's love is so intense, that's why he's doing the Ukti Pratyukti. If he wasn't feeling the anubhavs, the reactions to Radhika's love, then he would not be speaking fast with all of these beautiful poetry. So the first Dvani is, oh Radhika, you are beautiful. And secondly, the insult, Nindapi Pramadam Prayatsati. The insult is also the sign of love. Prema swarasi kasya kasyatidayam vikridati prakriya. Purnamasi Devi said that it is the play of love that it causes the lovers to insult each other. So one, Radhika, you are beautiful, and two, I am very much in love with you. And then Dvani, Anudvani, and then Pratidvani. The next level of Dvani in the poetry of Rupa Goswami. Very, very deep. Only the Param Rasik Vaishnavas can enter into it. The next level is very confidential. I shouldn't even say. But it's Rupa Goswami's day, I may become Vachal. the next level is this. Radhika said to Krishna, you are Vakrashra. So Vakrashra is a deity of Lord Shiva. It's one Shivling. So Vakrashra is a Shivling, a deity of Lord Shiva. And Astavakra Rishi is a Rishi who became a Siddha because he was an Upasaka of Lord Shiva. So when she said you are Vakrashra, Krishna said you are Astavakra Rishi, the Pratidwani is just as Astavakra Rishi became the Siddha by becoming the Upasaka, the worshipper of Vakrashra. If I am Vakrashra, then Radhika, your life will become a Siddha, perfect if you worship me. This is the Pratidwani. So in this way, Srila Rupa Goswami, we cannot touch his glories. He has written hundreds and hundreds of beautiful poems. And by hearing these poems, those who have these sanskars, they will experience the Sthayi-bhav, Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika-bhav, Vyabhachari bhav. And they will mix together and Rati will become extremely relishable and it will turn into Rasa. So, even though many incarnations and many acharyas came to this world and gave bhakti, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave bhakti rasa and he did it through Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Radhe Radhe. So we should sing a kirtan. I am feeling dissatisfied because we cannot even begin to describe Rupa Goswami's contribution. So tomorrow we're having another festival, not here, but at the house of Prem Das, at the Bhajan Kutir of Prem Das. Tomorrow, we'll begin bhajans at 5 o'clock. It's Baladev Purnima. So we'll be celebrating Baladev Purnima there tomorrow, and we can continue with the glories of Rupa Goswami in Berlin. So everyone, just sell your house or your car, or your wife, or your husband, or your mother, whatever, and get your tickets to come to Berlin for a big festival for 6 days, which will also include Janmashtami and Srila Prabhupada's appearance day as well. And then from there we're going to the bank of the Ganges, Prayag, in Czechoslovakia. There's also a Prayag in Czechoslovakia. So please come with us everywhere, and we can be Sri Bhagavata Rakthanam Rasika Sangaranginam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Sorry.
Jai Srila Bhakti-Srila Prabhu, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Chadiya Sadvarshada Vrinda ki jai, Mahabhagavad Shivokshuna Srunaraj ki jai, Saptam Goswami Sajanta Gravakti Amur ki jai, Sri Rupa Gaura Vivada ki jai, Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhattravana Sri Gopal Bhattara Sarana Sattva Swami ki jai, Namacharya Sahara Thakur ki jai, Rasa Roy Ramananda Rishi Gaur Bhashta Vrinda ki jai, Praise Gosha Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasa Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Brajamandala ki jai, Shri Ketamanu Jagannath Pradhan ki jai, Bhagwan Vardhan Kasina Vrikma Padam ki jai, Shri Sri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan ki jai, Bhuvana Mangakari Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Sanatana Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Julanyatra Mahotsava ki jai, Shri Rupa Gosvami Tirobhav Tithi Mahotsava ki jai, Shri Baladev Purnima Adivasti Mahotsava ki jai, Maneswasa Subhashabhan Dinismati Radharani ki jai, Sai Gaura Prema Hari Hari. Hare Vishnayo
Jai.
We have an anniversary today.
It's a birthday. It's not a
Birthday.
Yes, and he came, you know, for many, many hours sitting in the car. It's very difficult for him.
So everyone take some rose petals in your right hand and be ready to pronounce the best Vaishnava blessings on our dear Shah with the mantras from the Rig Veda. So take a deep breath and repeat. Now we have some blessings of all the Vaishnavas, all these obstacles, so spiritual life will go away, and you can go like a rocket. You go over Vrindavan. That's the secret of spiritual life, to get the blessings of Vaishnavas.